So you want to learn to wheelie without crashing, huh? Well, you might have seen some of my videos, you might not have. I've been practicing pretty seriously for about 6 months. I don't have that entire 6 months recorded, but I started recording a few months back, and I've been doing pretty good about that now. But I haven't crashed. You haven't seen me actually crash a single time since I've taken practicing wheelies seriously. And I would like to share a little bit of knowledge on just how I go about keeping myself safe while learning to do wheelies. So right now I'm on my ZX6R. First of all, I would not recommend learning on a full-size bike. Learn on a Grom. Learn on a Z125. Learn on a 50cc pit bike. I don't give a fuck. Don't learn on a bike that has 100 horsepower and is very expensive to fix when you know, throw it on the ground. So let's get back to it. The point here is, how do you stay safe while learning wheelies on a motorcycle? So it's pretty much the same way you stay safe learning to ride a motorcycle normally. You really need to have good decision-making skills, okay? You need to know how far is too far, and you need to have some self-control. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to immediately go all the way up to balance point immediately when they don't have any of the experience with rear brake feel and the muscle memory that comes with that. They don't have any of the experience to actually be able to control the bike when it's up there. They just want to get it up there and think that they'll be able to figure it out. Well, newsflash, you won't. That's how you crash. You gotta slowly build it up a little bit at a time. And I got a buddy that's pretty scared to learn wheelies, and I really wish he'd get to it. But basically what you gotta do is you gotta start really small, you know? The first thing that you need to learn when you're trying to learn wheelies is the clutch up. So the first thing you need to do to learn that is just, you need to feel what it feels like to drop that clutch, you know? Just get going and you know, move it like, you know, 3 to 5, 8 miles an hour, you know, single digits, and just give it the tiniest bit of throttle. I'm talking like not even enough to actually get the front wheel off the ground, just a tiny amount of throttle, just so you can feel what it feels like when you dump the clutch, you know, and then slowly work your way higher and higher, you know. Try to clutch it up like 3 or 4 inches, you know, and then try to clutch it up 6 inches, and then try to clutch it up a foot. And while you're doing all of this, you need to be constantly feeling the foot brake. Feel how much brake it takes to stop the bike from coming up and bring it back down. So, and I'm saying, like, don't try to do this in a day, because you're not going to build the muscle memory and the control in a day. It's going to take weeks or even months or even years of practice, of dedication, of coming out and doing it every fucking time, you know? A good way you can do it is just, if you have a motorcycle and you want to start learning to wheelie, every time you go ride, find a parking lot somewhere and just try bumping the clutch a couple of times. Get it to come up just a little bit. And I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about, because I'm sitting on my bike right now. So when I say get it up just a little bit, I don't mean pop the fucker up to balance point. No, not at all. Do not try to instantly go up to balance point. You won't have the control, especially on a bike like this that makes 100 fucking some odd horsepower and will for sure backflip you into oblivion if you're not careful. So this is what I'm talking about starting with. You know, just get going really slow speed, little throttle, dump the clutch. Just hold the throttle there even. Like that, you know, just feel what it feels like to dump the clutch. And then do that, you know, 100 times, 1,000 times if you need to. And then try to get it like a little bit off of the ground. Just like 3 or 4 inches. You may not be able to see that on camera, but I am getting my front tire off the ground. Just barely, like an inch or 2, maybe 3 inches. And then once once you get there and you're comfortable with how much throttle it takes to get it that high, then you can give it a little bit more throttle. Get it like 6 inches up. A foot. You know? But you need to slowly work on that. Get comfortable with popping the clutch and the bike coming up like that. And then, once you do that, you know, 100, 1,000 times even, and you are so comfortable with that you could do it in your sleep without even thinking about it, then you can try to pick it up a little higher. But you need to build the comfort and the muscle memory and control before you should go anywhere near balance point. Now, you're probably going to be chasing your wheelies a lot, which will look something like this. You'll pop it up just a little bit and you'll try to keep it up. And there I kept it up for, you know, 50 feet, maybe. I kept it like a foot off of the ground. Don't fucking do that. Like, you don't need to be gaining speed. The goal is to try to keep a steady speed or increase in speed as little as possible. So don't chase them out. You know, all you need to do right now is just be able to get the tire up and put it back down. So you should be doing a whole lot of this. Bring it up, hit the foot brake. Bring it up, hit the foot brake. I'll do it one more time. Bring it up, foot brake. And you need to do that 1,000 fucking times so that you're comfortable with it, so that you're confident with it, so that you know for sure when that front wheel comes up, you are ready on the brake, okay? Now, after you build your muscle control over probably months, that's how long it took me, you can start getting closer and closer to balance point. And you'll realize that you need to give it some throttle to get the front wheel up, but the closer you get to balance point, the farther off the throttle you need to get. Because if you try to hold that throttle open when you're coming up towards balance point, it's going to take a whole lot of brake to stop you. So you need to focus on letting off of the throttle as it comes up. And I'll try to show you that. It's something that really it comes with feel. You won't get it immediately. I understand that, at least when I was learning wheelies, it just seemed like there was so much going on that it's really hard to focus on individual things. But let me tell you, if you're trying to hold that throttle open and break through the throttle, you're going to have a bad time. For many reasons. Sometimes the brake just won't be enough because you're holding too much throttle. Sometimes your brake fluid will heat up so much because you're dragging brake through the throttle that your brake will just stop working. But anyway, the more you practice that, the higher you can go. And then eventually you can go pretty high. And try to not gain too much speed. Now that was obviously chasing it right there. You can chase a little bit. The closer you get to balance point, the kind of more okay it becomes to chase because you're not gaining speed very quickly. And I'm not saying you should chase all the time forever. That's not the right thing to do. You're only chasing it so you can get it back up to balance point, because the goal eventually will be to drop back and slow down. I just saw a screw in the road. I'm going to go pick that up. Where are you, screw? I just saw you. Right there. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, once you spend enough time practicing, getting up closer and closer to balance point, that's when you're going to start needing that brake a lot more. Like, I can't really ride balance point as long as I want on this bike yet, but I can on the Grom. And I'm at stock idle right now. Usually I run like 3,500 RPM idle, but let's get up by balance point. up to where you can hear your RPMs start to steady out and become constant. How long it takes you to get there is, well, going to be up to you, how much you practice and how much you go out. But here's the thing. So the whole reason that I'm making this video is to share my experience with how I stay safe while learning wheelies. And the way I just told you to learn wheelies is how you need to go about it. You need to go super slow. Take it a little bit at a time. Don't try to do stuff that you're uncomfortable with. You got to make good decisions to keep yourself safe. This is an extremely dangerous hobby. One wrong move, half a second of indecision, or you know, you could hurt yourself really fucking bad. And I don't want to get hurt, so I try to do everything I can to be safe while I'm out doing this. And the biggest thing, I'm telling you, is good decision making. Do not fucking do it in a way or in a place or in a manner that is going to hurt you. Take it a little bit at a time, build your comfort level, and I promise you, when you do it this way and you learn slowly, things just naturally become more comfortable the more time you spend doing it. Like for example, I've been trying to learn on this bike for about 2 months now after 4 months of just learning on the Grom. And I'm starting to get pretty confident on this bike, but it's taken a long time to do that, and that's just kind of what it takes. You gotta learn slow, and you gotta take your time with it because the consequences are very high. There's a guy at the end of the street. I wonder what he's doing. He just came out and looked at me. I feel weird now. But yeah. Anyway, stay safe, fellas and ladies. Definitely do learn wheelies. It's awesome. It's the coolest thing fucking ever. It's the coolest feeling in the world, rocking balance point. But I want you to be safe about it, you know? We don't need any more motorcyclists dying for no reason, especially from decisions that they made themselves. It's very unfortunate when somebody crashes practicing stunt riding, especially when they get seriously injured. But the rest of the world doesn't really fucking care because you did it to yourself. So do everything you can to not do it to yourself. Do everything you can to not be that guy. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, people. Have a good one. Peace.